There are a few things we can all agree on when it comes to babies. They are adorable. Listen, I might be biased, but this is pretty cute. They are surprisingly messy and very destructive for being such tiny creatures. And they have a lot of stuff, and all that stuff costs money. Those are just $1 bills. I'm gonna pick them up now though. No, but seriously you guys, babies are expensive, so in today's video I'm going to share with you some of my favorite money saving tips for when you have a baby. Really quickly before we jump into these money saving tips, I want to take a second to tell you about the sponsor for today's video. Now, if you guys watch a lot of But First Coffee on YouTube or on Instagram, you know I don't do a lot of sponsorships because I don't work with brands unless it's one I've already used and loved and or I know it's one you guys are going to get a lot of value out of, and Gevalia coffee is that. Gevalia is a cafe quality ground coffee you can get at home in a variety of roasts and types. Listen, I think we all know the importance of coffee in my daily life given, you know, my channel name. And I'm not exactly myself or the best mom I can be before my morning cup. Plus you can get Gevalia coffee right on Amazon, which makes it super convenient. I can just add it to my cart and have it delivered right to my house. And in today's video, I'm actually going to tell you how this very important morning staple actually helps me save money as a parent. Let's dive in to the money saving tips. All right, my first tip is to not buy everything brand new. Now, listen, I get it. It is a lot more easy and convenient to just come into a store and know everything's gonna be in stock and you can get exactly what you need, or better yet, just order online and they bring it to your house. But if you take a little time to shop used, you will save a ton of money. Let me give you an example. I'll paint a little picture for you, okay? I needed to get some pants for Miles and I went to the outlet with my mom and I got a pair of jeans for him. They were 50% off, $12. What a great deal, I thought, right? Well, the next week I went to the consignment shop near me and I got him 2 pairs of jeans, these ones, for $2.50 each, $5 for 2 pairs of jeans. And then on my way out, I saw the same exact sleep sack that I had just bought brand new for Miles for $20 for $4. Like the same exact sleep sack, size, color, everything. There are also Facebook groups online for swapping baby stuff, usually for free or super cheap. I have a friend who got an entire box of baby boy clothes completely for free. And if you're looking for bigger purchases like bassinets or play yards, keep your eyes peeled on Facebook Marketplace. My next tip is to do your research when it comes to buying the bigger items. And listen, I know that it gets really overwhelming because there are so many products out there at so many different price points and so many Instagram ads promising that this product will make your baby sleep through the night or make your baby a baby genius. Will make your baby a baby genius. Oh my God, I gotta have that. But it's worth it to spend a little extra time researching products, especially bigger purchases, to make sure you're getting exactly what you're looking for, and maybe even consider going out to the store and seeing it in person so you can make sure it's exactly what you want. And don't forget to save your receipts, because if baby doesn't like it, you're gonna wanna return it. Buy from stores with good return policies. I'll give you an example. I bought a baby swing for Miles, tried it for 3 days, he hated it. So I was able to return it, get my money back, and buy a new one. Okay, for this next tip, I have a couple graphs I want to show you. So the first one here, you can see on the y-axis we have exhaustion, and on the x-axis we have likelihood of takeout. Now you can clearly see as exhaustion rises, the likelihood that you're going to get takeout also rises. Now, I have another graph here I want to show you, and this is exhaustion by age. So you can see here, you know, as a newborn, exhaustion is sort of normal. I mean, maybe you fight your naps and you don't want to sleep, but pretty normal. And then it kind of dips a little between 5 and 10, and then it rises again around your teens, like for some reason you're sleeping a lot, and then it just like plummets in your 20s. For some reason you can like sustain yourself on lots of coffee and like cheap beer and ramen noodles. And then kind of as you're getting towards your late 20s, it starts to rise again. You find yourself a little more sleepy, and then it spikes at parenthood, right? You're just exhausted all of the time. And then I think it levels out like around your 50s, but I'm not really sure. I haven't done the research. Now, if we take this and we go ahead and we reference the first graph, we can see that because likelihood to get takeout increases with exhaustion and exhaustion increases with parenthood, the likelihood of getting takeout as a parent also increases. The problem is takeout is expensive. So my trick is to honestly just like stock up on frozen pizza. I know that seems silly, but you are going to be so exhausted some nights that you don't want to cook, your partner doesn't want to cook, which usually leaves you with the only option of getting takeout, which gets very pricey. Now, it doesn't have to be pizza. I mean, get whatever like frozen easy meals you like. Another thing I like to do is if I'm making something like lasagna or enchiladas or mac and cheese, I'll make an extra one and throw it in the freezer so I have it for those nights. The point is, stock up your freezer with some easy meals so you can avoid spending all of that money on takeout. Another one that this goes for is getting takeout coffee. When Miles was first born, I kind of got into a bad habit of getting too much coffee out. Because honestly, as a mom, sometimes you just need to get out of your house with your kids. And so we'd run an errand or we'd just like go for a walk and get some coffee. And it turned from 1 coffee a week to 2 coffees a week, 3 coffees a week. You kind of see where I'm going. And when I looked at my weekly spending and my monthly spending, I realized I was spending way too much money on getting coffee out. So I've been trying to be really good about drinking more coffee at home, and I've already cut back 50%. The trick is learning to make yourself some of those special drinks that you like to get when you're out. So personally, I love a really good iced coffee as an early afternoon treat. So some mornings I'll make a French press using my Javalia ground coffee. Like I told you guys earlier, they make really great cafe quality coffee, so I don't feel like I'm losing taste by making it at home. So I make a whole French press and then I save half in the fridge for the afternoon, and this way when Miles and I are gonna run out the door to do some errands or go for a walk, I can literally just pop some into a tumbler with ice and I have a little afternoon treat without ruining my budget over it. My next money saving tip is to use toy rotation. This is a trick that I learned back when I was teaching preschool. Keeping our little ones entertained can feel like a full-time job, and honestly it is. And desperate for something to keep them occupied, we can accumulate a lot of toys. And you might think that by having all of the toys all of the time that your little one will stay entertained, but the truth is it tends to just overwhelm them and they get bored with the same things. Instead, what I suggest to do is only put out about 10 to 25% of your kids' toys at a time. This way they don't feel overwhelmed by having so many options, and when then they tire of the toys you have out, you can replace them with some of the toys that you have in storage, right? To you, it's just old toys you had in storage, but to your baby, it's a whole new thing to explore. This can help you avoid feeling like you're constantly needing to buy new toys to entertain your little one. Keep your toy collection smaller, and overall, you'll save a lot of space and a lot of money. All right, my next tip is to get down with Amazon Subscribe and Save. Now, Amazon Subscribe and Save honestly saves me so much money on my baby stuff. I save 20% every single time I buy diapers and 15% on my wipes and my diaper cream. Now, if you don't know about Amazon Subscribe and Save, I am about to blow your mind. Okay, so I'm gonna take you inside my Amazon account to sort of show you how Amazon Subscribe and Save works, but basically you subscribe to things to be delivered every month or every other month or every 3 months, and you can save anywhere from 5 to 20% on the items. Okay, so this is how it looks inside your Amazon Subscribe account, and as long as you have 1 to 4 things set to subscribe and save for that month, you'll save 5% on every single thing. But if you have 5 or more things set to subscribe and save, then you're gonna save this gray amount. So that's kind of the key to saving big, but there are plenty of things that I honestly could get every single month. So I'll usually come through and see like what other stuff I have on Subscribe and Save. Like I usually get diaper rash cream. So I'm just gonna move that one up to October 12th. Okay, so now you can see I have 5 things set to come on my next delivery of October 12th. So I'm getting 15% off my diaper rash cream, 20% off my diapers, 15% off laundry detergent, which I needed. So basically just by subscribing to get auto deliveries of things I was already gonna get, I'm saving 15 to 20% on them, just like that. All right, let's talk about baby food once your baby starts eating solids. Now, I always keep cereal puffs and like fruit pouches around for when we're eating on the go or like I'm in a rush or whatever. But in general, I try to make a lot of Miles' food because it is so much cheaper. All right, I know what you're thinking right now. You're like, okay, so Kallie, I'm supposed to keep a tiny human alive. I'm supposed to like get enough sleep, eat healthy, do squats, drink water, maintain a social life, and now you want me to make homemade baby food. First of all, nobody said anything about squats, okay? Let's not be crazy. The yoga pants in my dresser have never been used for exercise. I mean, like, unless you consider running from my true emotions and using jokes to hide my real feelings exercise. Second, I'm going to give you a tip that's going to make this a lot more achievable. Pick one afternoon a month or even every 6 weeks and just prep a ton of stuff. I'll make a bunch of different purees and freeze them. I'll cook up some spinach pancakes and freeze those. I'll steam and dice veggies, portion them off, and freeze those too. And again, this is not about going all or nothing. Making some homemade food doesn't mean that you can't have some of the prepared stuff for when you're like, on the go, or you're traveling, or you just like don't have time. But even if you can supplement some of your baby's food with stuff you make yourself, you are going to save money. While we're on the topic of feeding babies, I'm going to share some final topics that all have to do with feeding babies. Now, first, 2 tips are for those moms who are nursing. The first tip is that you can get your breast pump completely completely for free through your insurance. Insurance companies are required to provide counseling, support, and equipment for breastfeeding mothers, so you can almost always get a free breast pump through your health insurance. My second one maybe is not something that every nursing mom will agree with me on, but I say stay away from the nursing specific clothing. Besides like some nursing bras and maybe 1 or 2 pairs of like nursing pajamas, nursing specific tops have such a huge markup on price because it's such a niche item. They charge you so much money for like a shirt that just like has a hole in it so you can nurse your baby. I bought 1 or 2 nursing specific items when I was pregnant and I totally never use them. I just found that things that were loose, things that were flowing, or things that buttoned down the front were way easier to nurse in. Not to mention I could buy from brands that I liked and I knew and save like so much money. I actually have an entire blog post I wrote all about how to dress your postpartum body with some tips about like nursing specific stuff, so I will link that down below if you want to read a little bit more. Alright, my final feeding tip has to do with formula. You may not know this, I didn't know this, but actually 85% of women are no longer exclusively breastfeeding by 6 months. So this means that maybe they're supplementing with formula or they're fully feeding their babies with formula, and formula is expensive. Now, when I was pregnant, I got like coupons for formula, they sent me free formula in the mail, and I threw it out because I wasn't planning on formula feeding. I just assumed that I would nurse, and then I had a baby that wouldn't latch and he had jaundice, and I had to feed him formula basically to keep him alive and to keep him healthy. So my tip is don't throw out those coupons that they give you. Don't throw out the free samples of formula because you never know what your baby might need. Some other tips when it comes to buying formula and getting a good price on it: ask your pediatrician for free samples because they have them and they will give them out. Another good tip, formula, always buy that in bulk because you're going to save money, and comparison shop around stores. The formula that I use can honestly vary between $3 and $10 depending on where I'm buying it, like for a single canister. So shop around and find which stores sell your formula for the cheapest. Alright guys, that does it for my 13 secrets to saving money on baby stuff. Let me know in the comments down below, what did I miss? What tips do you use to save money on baby stuff? As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. We hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will see you all in my next video.